Welcome to School of Miracles. I'm Heather Scavetta. Here we talk about all things spiritual path. And as someone who has taught spirituality for over 20 years and done probably thousands of readings, I can see patterns and truths from the spirit world, things that they have told us and want us to understand. And I love talking about that. So today I wanted to talk about their role in our spiritual path, on our spiritual path. And we often think of our spirit helpers as ones who help us to plan our life. Yes, they do that. Before we incarnate. But we also look to the spirit world for guidance, to help give us a stronger way to be sure about what we're doing. And sometimes we forget that there's many roles that they play in our lives. And one theme that has come through consistently for the people in my readings is that spirit is there to encourage us. That we know spirit can't do our life for us or make decisions for us, but they can be that cheerleader. They can help us be encouraged in our life. And so when we understand that they are a cheerleader in our life, we can also take the leap in understanding that what spirit does for us, they often do when we can't do it for ourselves, or we don't recognize that we can do it for ourselves, or we need, extra in our life. So if spirit is coming through and always encouraging us, can we take that a step farther and give that encouragement to ourselves? And this can be difficult in those times where we feel discouraged. But if we're always trying to understand that loop of spirit in us and that it's a continuous loop, can we suspend our doubt about ourselves or doubt about the situation or doubt about our life and trust that all is the way it should be, and we can move into that self-encouragement easier than when we are stuck in that discouragement. And this does not mean that we can't be frustrated or we can't recognize those times in our life. But what the tools of spirit does for us is it helps us not stay in that place longer than necessary, that we can lift ourselves out of it. And oftentimes we ask spirit to help us in those situations. And sometimes we may not feel their presence or feel a change, because sometimes they're saying to us, you need to do this for yourself. You need to learn how to do this for yourself. I remember a reading I did, so many years ago. And this lady came and I channeled for her for half an hour. And a lot of what the message was for her was to take any kind of win and celebrate it, however small it may seem, but to turn her focus more into celebrating her life instead of the struggles or what she perceives as not there. So at the end of the reading, I said to her, does that make sense for you? And she said she was surprised that they never mentioned that she had MS. And I said to her that in this time that we're spending together right here, they did not feel that talking about that was important. What they did focus on was her mindset and what she does in her life, and to take the focus away from that and to move it more into celebration. However that is for her. It could be that her mind is in a good place, in that moment, or maybe her mobility is improved that day, or that she has good people around her, however it is for that individual, that can be interpreted as a win, and to start incorporating more celebration into your life. And I feel like that message is so helpful because society doesn't really encourage us to do that. Instead, they want us to focus on the negative, wants to focus on our perception of lack, wants us to run around trying to fill that void, instead of taking what is in front of us and celebrating that. Those little things can be big things. So we're used to celebrating our birthday every year. That's a long time to wait for a celebration, isn't it? So can we instead give ourselves our own encouragement and celebrate the little wins that we have each day? So in my weekly newsletter, I send out quotes from Spirit and talk about them. And this week, my newsletter is about being encouraged. So I'm just expanding on that newsletter. And if you want to receive that newsletter, just drop me an email at heather@sofm, short form for schoolofmiracles.ca. So heather@sofm.ca, and I will put you on my newsletter list. And something that they said was that each time you doubt, be encouraged. Each time you succeed, be encouraged. Each time you love, be encouraged. Be encouraged through it all. They understand it can be difficult when we don't know what to do or where to go, and yet they still want us to be encouraged. They want us to think of them as cheerleaders behind us, cheering us on, for that is what they do. They want us to succeed and move forward towards a place where we understand that all is as it should be, and that we can't change what has happened, but we can be strong, building a new way forward that aligns with the truth of our being. So they want us to celebrate each win, each trial too. Focus less on what is not working to what is. Focus on the love that is always present. It is there in each moment, even in the dark ones. Love can be the focus of our life, and each decision and action can be an expression of love. So ask yourself, what would love do now? And that's similar to what would Jesus do, because we know Jesus is love as well, right? But we can kind of distill it down and say, what would love do now? And this is really helpful when we're making choices in our own life, so we can be loving towards ourselves. And sometimes that can be the hardest thing to do. But in each decision that we make, we can say, is that loving towards ourselves? Is that supporting us? Is that helping us celebrate our life? And intuitively, we mostly know what that answer is. It really doesn't serve to make decisions that keep us down or punish ourselves, or however you want to look at it, or doesn't support what we truly want. But we have to be courageous, because oftentimes that is going a little bit against the grain of what others want to do. But if we're courageous in our own life and make good, loving decisions towards ourselves, then we're very accepting of what others do because they need to do what they need to do. And that can help them maybe change the way they look at things by seeing that that needs to happen for us too. That we need to be free to make our own positive choices in our life, even if it doesn't align with them. Because most loving choices towards ourselves is not harming another. It's not something that we want. We want to nurture ourselves so that we're better able to nurture others and be in a good place to do that. So if you want to read the entire channel about this, you can subscribe to my newsletter and I'll send that out to you. But I thought I would kind of expand on what they were talking about in that channel today. So think about those times where you're too hard on yourself or you feel frustrated. Instead, can you flip it and encourage yourself? Because as they say, you've already succeeded many times to overcome adversity. So you can say, I can do this moving forward too, right? So we build on our successes and encourage yourself, and don't wait for Spirit to do that for you, because they're teaching you to do it for yourself, that is within you to do that. So start small, recognize, be aware, because awareness is really, the whole ticket to this. Be aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking about, and celebrate those little wins today. So I hope you've enjoyed my message for today, and I hope you subscribe to my newsletter and you'll get, a little bit more out of it. And of course, I do readings over Zoom, and you can connect with me through the email heather@sofm.ca as well for that. So thank you so much, and I hope you celebrate today.